We in the shop where engagement is king. And I've been having fun engaging everybody, man. The Green Bay Packers fans is losing their mind. They want to get rid of LaFluer. Dude got like an 80% winning percentage. It don't matter who the quarterback is. Don't matter if Michael Parsons don't play. Don't matter if Christian Watson don't play. Don't matter if the cornerback get hurt. Don't matter if that man fixed a problem that Tennessee Titans created in Malik Willis. Had that man looking like Ofo Vic out there. Kicker missed a couple kicks. Reed drop a wide open touchdown. Jordan Love dropped a snap on fourth down. Somehow they want to get rid of LaFluer. Get rid of him. We'll take him. We'll bring him back home to Nashville. We'll take on y'all problems. One man's trash is another man's trash. Jacksonville Jaguars. You had it. So close. You was this close. In some kind of way, Sunshine decides we got Brian Thomas Jr. out there. And on my prize pick, all I need is one more catch from Brian Thomas Jr. 2 targets, 2 catches, 21 yards and a touchdown. In some kind of way, Brian Thomas Jr. does not get targeted. He force feeds the ball to Jacoby Myers for the 55th time in the game and gets picked off. And the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, playoff Josh, 28-35, 273, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, a 10-yard tush push to end the game. Josh Allen showed up in his playoff Josh today. Panthers, great turnaround season, winning the South. Bryce Young going to get the 5th-year option. Coker pops out of nowhere from Holy Cross and balls out alongside Tatroa.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Who led all rookies in receiving this past year. Rico Dowdle in his redemption story. Chuba Hubbard, Jatavian Sanders, that young team won the division, but no match. MVP Matt Stafford comes through in the clutch like I said he would. Man, listen, man, we kind of like a well-oiled machine. If y'all ain't seen the NFL playoff prediction, I put the videos out. Reason why I put them out is I don't want to be sitting here being one of them people that think I know everything, that come after the fact and say, see, I told y'all. Nah, I put my predictions out and I let it be what it's going to be. That's also on the YouTube. You know, it's a lot of people that make content. They can't stand to make their takes and to put their things out there and their thoughts to the world in real time, because the chat will troll you if you're wrong or you misspeak or you say something off. But that's why I'm undefeated, because I don't mind the pressure. I don't mind the smoke. I don't mind the fire of having to stand on everything that I say like a grown man should. All right. The Cardiac Kid Bears in the physicality. Kevin Byard, Tennessee Titan legend, and the Bears come through in the end, get off the field, and the Bears have won the North. Ben Johnson has taken over and won a huge playoff game against division rival Green Bay Packers. Won their fan base to lose their mind. Listen, Green Bay, while y'all at it, I told y'all, if you go check my page, way back in November, I said, Green Bay fans seem like they're a little disgruntled with LaFluer. Dude got like at the time he had a 76-34-1 record. Malik Willis was stepping in, balling. I said, listen, y'all don't want him. Let LaFluer come home to Nashville. Let him come on back. We'll take him. Y'all don't like the Romeo Doubs Guardian cap. Let Romeo Doubs get in his suitcase, and then, you know, LaFluer, call your boy Mariota, and we can have him as QB2. We can trade Will Levis. I've been watching his Instagram workouts. My boy is recovering just fine. That's another draft pick sitting out there. Look, Green Bay, if y'all don't want LaFluer,
let me teach you how to
my way. All right, now I had to get through that spiel because we here. It's Sunday night. It's Wildcard weekend.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Y'all comments more than anything, more than y'all know. So let me get caught up on the comments, man. Let me see what y'all know. I got to get through the opening spiel, man. I got to get my. This is therapy for me. Jags and Bills, a great game though. Shout out to Panthers for balling, and F the Packers bear down. Bears just won their Super Bowl. No, they didn't win their Super Bowl. I like their coach. I like the way their coach think. Panthers almost won me $500. Would have been $800 for the weekend. Bears are who we thought they were. Man, I couldn't believe I couldn't get one more catch out of Brian Thomas Jr. I just need Kendrick Bourne to get a catch now, but I don't think I'm gonna get it in this game. Kendrick Bourne, I just needed one catch and he dropped the one that they threw at him. B Walker, let's get it. Chronic fan put 300 on the Bears to come back at halftime. 1,200 on the Bear down. Bears made you happy for the month for sure. What it do? Tighten up, Stevie B. Ken was always first. Shout out to the backers for selling and not thinking the Cowboys and extra first round picks. Yeah, that would have been tough for the Cowboy faithful. Aaron C. Bid Johnson, Vrabel, McDonald, Shanahan, Cohen for Coach of the Year. Crazy candidates for sure. Yeah, bring LaFluer to the Titans. Ravens Joe in the building.
Let me teach
He
you how
said,
to
people
vibe.
who say coaching ain't important, please exit the booth. Man, talk to me. Man, talk to me. John Harbaugh's in conversation. He said he's going to take the weekend and come down to 3 candidates and then figure it out. He said Packers fans look like he said getting rid of LaFleur is crazy. Your daughter was balling in that video. Oh yeah, man. That one right there, you got to take her outside and let her burn off some steam or you ain't going to get her to sleep at night. At 3-13 in 3 seasons, man, that's what I'm saying, bro. Sometimes people don't understand what incompetence. LaFleur and McCarthy, if they got rid of LaFleur, would be at the top. LaFleur and McCarthy was y'all last 2 coaches in Green Bay. If you're not satisfied with that people that are at the top of everybody's coaching search, if you want to get rid of somebody who's going to be at the top of the coaching search, yeah. Colby Parkinson with the ag from hell. Yeah, that was a snatch. I mean, he snatched that, completely out of the air. 49ers better get smacked this week, even if they win this week. TJ, what's up? They said, was that my TikTok? That was my wife's TikTok. You see, she made me this jacket, man. You know what I'm saying? I had an old Titans leather jacket that I hadn't worn in years. And I told y'all I was spring cleaning. I found it. And then I had this jacket was in my closet and I was going to get rid of it. And she's like, no, just give them both. I'm going to make you one jacket out of them. So she took the 2 jackets and put the 2 jackets together. And now I got a, man, listen. Pardon my back. You know what I'm saying? Pardon my back. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen. A house full of people that love to create things, man. He said, you hate the Eagles offense. Yeah, I mean, people downplay the skilled position players, but I just don't like the offensive scheme. I think Kellen Moore had a bigger impact on the Eagles than people would like to believe. He said that A.J. Brown just said a game. A.J. Brown then dropped a couple of passes. He'll be a New England Patriot next year. Don't worry. He said John said he's taking a look at Dart and Ward tape. Yeah. I think it's a few places that John Harbaugh could go. So the 49ers would beat us in the West the start of the season. Pepperidge Farms. See, Nick is one of those people that likes to try to twist what you said. I said I picked the Rams as my top team. I said I don't know what the Cardinals are going to have this year, but I don't trust them. I said in between the Seahawks and the 49ers, I said I trust the 49ers front office to fix their roster and rebuild faster than the Seahawks. That is still a true statement. Even though the Seahawks have the number 1 seed in the NFC, and I applaud them, I don't know a team that can lose as much as the 49ers have this season and still be there. If the Seahawks would have had as many injuries as the 49ers, they would be nowhere near where the Niners are at. That is a true statement. That does not change that. And you better hope that the Seahawks win as the number 1 seed and make it to the NFC Championship, because they don't. That's going to be a huge choke job. Even though I would have liked to hire y'all Coach McDonald when we got Callahan. So look, don't take it from me appreciating your team and saying, hey, you guys had a great season. I like a lot of your players. It's a few players in the free agency like Tariq Woolen and Boy Mafe. I would like to be Tennessee Titans next year, maybe even K9. But I'm telling you, I am not backing off of my statement. The 49ers front office is elite. It doesn't matter who plays. They'll find a way to fix it. So if I say I trust the 49ers to fix their team before the Seahawks, that is still a true statement. I am not moving off of that. Talking like I do the YouTube family. Appreciate that, TJ. Oh, yeah, it's definitely a W. Now, A.J. Brown is not coming back to Tennessee. He'll go to New England first. If LaFluer gets fired, he's definitely coming to the Titans. Harbaugh probably going to New York. Would you rather have Harbaugh or LaFluer? LaFluer because he's younger. Zay, look at my comments on my Facebook post. All the Packer fans act like, even Ben Kurt, the comments that he made on his Twitter, like, bro, are you serious? Did y'all think that LaFleur is at fault because his field goal kicker can't kick 30 and 40-yard field goals? And then he drew up a play where Reed would have had a walk-off touchdown and he dropped it. You know, 4th down, Jordan Love picks the ball, like fumbles the snap. I mean, I don't know. Defensive head coach or offensive head, I don't care. Only thing about a defensive head coach, if you get a defensive head coach, you got to have a really good OC. So if you have an offensive-minded head coach, then you worry less about what got us before. Mike Vrabel. I mean, let's go back. Malarkey got fired because he didn't want to let go of his OCs, which weren't getting the job done. If you don't believe me, go watch Bussin' with the Boys, Marcus Mariota, and let him talk about the offensive coordinators in Nashville when he was there and how him and Ben Jones basically called all the plays at the line of scrimmage because the offensive coordinators were incompetent. Then Mike Vrabel has Matt LaFleur as OC, gets Green Bay. Arthur Smith as OC, goes to Atlanta. Then he has Todd Downing, gets a DUI. And after the primetime Packer game, Todd Downing gets a DUI. They clear house. Then Tim Kelly, who the Texans didn't want to let go of at first, winds up coming in. And then Kelly didn't do a good job. Then Mike Vrabel winds up leaving. Now Mike Vrabel has McDaniels, a former head coach, and somebody that's highly regarded in the Patriots circle, who's his OC. So if you do get a defensive-minded head coach, like you're always going to be struggling to have the offensive play caller. So you really want to have some continuity. You want somebody that can come in and call plays for Cam Ward, where he won't be going from running wing T in high school to Incarnate Word to Washington State to Miami to already being in Nashville and having 3 different people in his ear within 12 months. So you want at least through the rest of Cam Ward's rookie contract for him to have a solidified set of people handling him offensively. I don't know where Harbaugh will go, but I would assume that Harbaugh would like a lot of control wherever he's at. Chargers versus Patriots tonight. Who do I got? I think Justin Herbert is going to be in rare form. They had to switch phones or straight. Packers fans would go through hell and high water before they criticize their ever so precious Jordan Love. And I don't even criticize Jordan Love. I mean, you know, he coming back off the injury. Jordan Love had 360 passing yards yesterday. When you go back and watch it and see a field goal kicker miss a couple kicks and him hit Reed, it's like 30 seconds in the game and he hit Reed's in the hand to walk in the end zone and he dropped it. I mean, I don't think Jordan Love is like the best, but I also think he's good enough for them to win, and he does a lot. He had plenty of money to upgrade veteran bones of his team, Ridley, Pollard, and Chig. To be honest with you, Calvin Ridley's going to be a June cut. They're going to save like $10 to $15 million cutting him. The intricacies of that, I really don't care to dive into. Tony Pollard is due $9 million next year, but only $2 million of it is guaranteed. And then Chig Okonkwo, now if you go check out Spotrac, his value of what he's expected to be able to get in a contract has moved up to where like Jonnu Smith was. Jonnu Smith got $12 million a year for 4 years when he left the Titans. Chig, with his productivity, has moved up to like expected like $11 million a year. And if we're talking about spending $11 million a year, this is something I propose, and I'm going to drop my video of my upgraded offseason plan that I would go like my dream scenario. If you got Kyle Pitts or Isaiah Likely sitting there for around the same price that you would get Chig for, I'd spend a few million extra, and like Kyle Pitts and Gunnar Helm with DMR as your third tight end. That would be because Kyle Pitts has numbers receiving of that of like a wide receiver. When you look at what Kyle Pitts is able to put on tape, the Titans love a lot of twin tight end formations, like high catch radius, 6'6", 250. I would love to have Kyle Pitts at tight end with Gunnar Helm, considering that Alec Pierce is going to be about $20 to $25 million on that high end range, around $25 million for the bad team tax for Pierce. A big 6'2", 6'3" vertical threat. Then Daubs will be cheaper than that. But if you wind up having to spend $20 million plus on a receiver, like I'd rather just get go to the draft and spend that in places with people that's a little bit more of a guess. Yeah, he definitely forced that into. But I mean, it's 4th and 11. I don't know what else that they would expect. AJ Brown sold this game. I think AJ Brown's had some opportunities to go up top and did not come through. You see, I keep hearing Robert Saleh for head coach and McDaniel for OC. I don't know about that. I mean, it would be a good pairing, but if McDaniel turned the offense around, he'd get a head coaching job within a year. He'd be right back out the door. Boom. All right. So then I got something else, another little quick topic that I wanted to bring up, because watching the Jaguars and seeing the Jaguars have Brian Thomas, who that was the original reason why they let Ridley go, is because they had Brian Thomas and Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is now in the Texans. Evan Ingram is now in the Broncos. And then they have Brenton Strange, Parker Washington, and they traded for Jacoby Myers and Travis Hunter. They obviously traded up 2 first-round picks to get Travis Hunter. And you just got to ask yourself the question, with 2 targets for 21 yards and a touchdown, what are they doing with Brian Thomas that they're making him like the 3rd or 4th passing option? And when Travis Hunter comes back, like who's the odd man out? Who's not on the field? So my question starts to look at when you look at wide receivers in the NFL, you don't always have to have that sexy first round draft pick as your number 1 receiver, because I would say like Parker Washington is probably like,
let me teach you how to vibe,
like the most like targeted player for the Jaguars now, right? Even though you have Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., these guys is high overall draft picks. And I started to question myself, like where do the top 10, top 20, top 32 receivers in the league, where did they go in the draft? All right, so I had to have some fun with it, and it's like let me look through this. You know what I'm saying? Like let me look and see who's the top receivers in the NFL. JSN, Puka Nacua, George Pickens, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Trey McBride, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave, Nico Collins, Jamison Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Cortland Sutton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Tetroa McMillan, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Smith, Michael Wilson, A.J. Brown, and Alec Pierce, right? But then I said, let's look at these people broken down by how they were drafted. 11 of those top 20 is first-round picks, but half of the people that's in the top 20 in the NFL in receiving yards, day 2, George Pickens, Trey McBride, Sutton, Wan'Dale, Nico Collins, Pierce, and Michael Wilson was day 2. And day 3, steals was Puka Nacua, St. Brown, and Diggs. So when the draft rolls around for the Tennessee Titans, I don't want them to reach for a wide receiver just because a first round pick, Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, probably Concepcion probably will be ranked 4th as the receivers. We haven't hit the combine to see if Chris Brazel or Nick Harbor will move up on the board based on
let me teach
their
you how to
size,
vibe,
being 6'4", 6'5", They're gonna run in the 4-2, 4-3 range, and that's obviously gonna make them more attractive.
Let me teach you
But
how
you
to
know, if there's no
vibe.
Tetroa McMillan in the draft, or just a surefire guy that you see, I think the scouting department, as big as it is for the Titans, should be able to highlight some players like they did with Jim DK and Alec Aomaner. Because when you go back and look at some of the first round guys, like compare some of the late round picks, even DK and AO to Travis Hunter's numbers. I know he missed a big portion of the season. And then you go look at Matthew Golden on the Packers and look at his output. Just because you get somebody in the first round don't necessarily mean that they're going to give you that next level production. So that's interesting to see. Zay with the 40-star bomb.
Let me
In your
teach you how to
opinion, when do you think the
vibe.
Titans will announce who they'll be their next head coach? Well, PK do really good journalistic work, and he laid out the timeline on his page, and they've done a lot of virtual interviews. They still have to have 2 in-person interviews from some black head coaches or minority head coaches, and then they still have to go through the process. We've been looking for a coach for 14 weeks. I don't see why there's such a rush to just hire somebody right now. We did that with Brian Callahan and it didn't work. I think you got to go through the process of everybody who you got scheduled, bring them all in, and if they really the guy that's meant to be there, you'll get the guy that you're truly after. Because if the guy that you're targeting makes it to the NFC Championship, AFC Championship, or Super Bowl, you really can't interview them up into that process. But the way the NFL rules work with tampering and things like that, so I say be patient. Once you see 2 black in-person head coaching interviews, then you'll know the Titans actually be eligible to actually push the trigger on hiring a coach. Los Dre say, what did you miss? Little something. Brent Strange, Parker Washington. And see, Parker Washington was like a 6th round pick. Risky Robert in the building. What up? Same thing I was saying about Brian Thomas. I mean, it just don't make sense for you to have like such a talent. It's kind of like watching the Cardinals play when they don't target Marvin Harrison Jr. You're like, why did you draft somebody that's 6'3", runs super fast 40, can attack the football? You just don't run plays for him. I don't understand. The D Ford money line under for the win. I needed 1 catch from Kendrick Bourne. He ruined me today.
Let me teach you how to
After my
vibe.
team got eliminated, I can't analyst desert the game. I really don't care about any of these things. Just love the game for sure. What do you think about Tajay? Would he be tradable or better to keep? Let me ask you this question. Who on earth would trade for Tajay? At best, if you traded Tajay, you get a 7th round pick. And nobody's trading for Tajay Spears. He hasn't been healthy enough, nor has he been
Let me teach you
productive
how to
enough
vibe.
for any team to trade for Tajay. I think Tajay and Pollard both are on their last years. So the best case scenario is these guys are on their contract year. Best case would be Pollard and Spears starts the year healthy. Both of them are productive, and you deal one or potentially both. The thing is,
Let
like,
me
who you
teach you
gonna
how to
replace him
vibe.
with? Julius Chestnut and Khalil Mullins. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot got to happen. So, in all my mock drafts, I have a late round running back I select every time between Nick Singleton. It was Raleek Brown, but he went in the portal to Texas. And then the running back from Virginia, he's really productive. And I like Henry from UTSA. Some late round backs that I'd take a shot at to get into the mix. Who is my likely ideal candidate for the Titans? I think it's realistic that we could get Harbaugh. I like the idea of LaFluer if Green Bay lets them go. But honestly, I stand on business when I say this. I really want them to go through a thorough process and see what coach is going to come in and bring in the best staff with him. I wouldn't mind Kubiak from Seattle. I wouldn't mind Chris Shula defensive coordinator from the Rams or mentor or any of those guys, but I'm gonna need them, if it's a young first time coach, to have his staff laid out and to know that you could hire his staff. So if you had like 2 former head coaches coaching behind him, cool. You know what I'm saying? But that's a lot to ask for. So I'm gonna let the process play itself out, because nobody thought that McDaniel would be on the board. Nobody thought that Harbaugh would be on the board. You know, some of these coaches, and if LaFluer is on the board, like, it just shakes up everything that there were your candidates coming in, and then it added to the mix. Like every week, every few days, a coach that we didn't think was getting fired was getting fired. You know, it'd have been a potential if the Ravens would have made a field goal, if Mike Tomlin would have mutually parted ways with the Steelers, then, you know, Mike Tomlin would be at the top of everybody's list. You still got McCarthy out there, who's not interested in the Titans job. You know, it's a lot of former head coaches that are available for coaching candidates.
Let me teach you
But
how
I
to
just want the
vibe.
best staff though for the future, and I would prefer somebody on the younger side, just because I don't want a 60-plus-year-old coach that's done coaching and has no fire. You know, you got to think, when Tomlin and Harbaugh was hired, they was in their 40s. You know, Cohen and McDonald, a lot of these coaches, Ben Johnson, these guys are late 30s, early 40s, and they got a 10, 20-year window in them. Some of these other guys have ran their course. Seeing who to New England, but Super Bowl pick still alive. I got Bills, Rams, Super Bowl. That was my Super Bowl. Bills, Rams. DeShamrick, what up? D'Angelo, what's poppin', man? GG's just the man I've been waiting to see. Not for troll purposes, but man, what on earth are y'all doing with Brian Thomas? Like, y'all are just wasting him. I've seen Sunshine just keep throwing it, Jacoby Myers. I just never see y'all run any plays for Brian Thomas. He says, should Bergonzi trade for a legit receiver? No. We need all the draft capital. Like, if you pick in 4th, that's saying you could pick the best wide receiver in this entire draft, right? You got you pick 4, 35, 66, 101, and then you're gonna have an extra 2 5ths, 2 6 and a 7. So if you got like 2 former GMs plus Brinker, Bergonzi, all in the office, if they can't figure out one good solid receiver in this draft, then they need to all fire themselves. Trading draft capital for a receiver, like legit receiver, would be saying, like, are you getting Jay Jettis? You know, like, are you getting somebody like that? And I don't think any of them guys is on the board. So when you have the most cap space, the 2 biggest name receivers in free agency, obviously, is Alec Pierce and Romeo Doubs. George Pickens is not leaving Dallas. So you just have to consider that, like, with Alec Pierce being out there and Romeo Doubs being out there, like, how much are they gonna want to come to Tennessee, and how much money you gonna have to spend? I'm not spending $25 million on either one of those guys. Yeah, this is the team that didn't give AJ Brown $25 million in his prime, so
Let me teach
I
you
can't
how to
assume that they
vibe.
would want to give more money to guys that ain't AJ Brown. They're good, but if you got Alec Pierce and Romeo Doubs to Nashville, would they be a top 10 number 1 option? There's no guarantee in it. Need a culture change, and not specifically offense or defense. Somebody that's going to make people believe the Titans are trending in the right direction. May have to start with the front office, considering y'all did have Vrabel and had a lot of talent over the years.
Let me teach you how
Yeah,
to
I
vibe.
mean, you're going to want somebody with personality, but in my opinion, just so much as that, I think that could be overplayed at times, because, like, if I got a good staff, I don't need some guy to come in and grab people by the shoulder pads, so to speak. Like, what makes the Patriots good this year is they had a good free agent period. They had a good draft, and Mike Vrabel bought a former head coach and an established offensive coordinator to work with Drake May. They stopped the run. They run the football, and, you know, that's kind of what made them better. The same with the Bears. Same with the Jaguars. You know, I don't look at Liam Cohen and think like this dude is some fiery guy. You know, like Ben Johnson, he tries and he does his thing. You know, he got his players fired up. He got them to play physical. But, you know, I don't necessarily need some larger than life personality to come in and make the Titans tough. I just think that kind of sits within the players. And I think that culture will change regardless if you win in games. Bears host Rams. Let's go. That should be a good one. 2 times in the building if they could get Jay Jettis. But what would you have to give up to get Jay Jettis, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, the Vikings ain't... Kevin O'Connell's not trading Jay Jettis. So, and then, like, if Jay Jettis could leave, he's trying to go to the Chiefs or somewhere. He's not trying to go to Nashville and rebuild. That's why I say just build through the draft, get some supplemental guys that can step in and play a solid role. Send Brian Thomas or Marvin Jr. or even one of them Bears receivers. That's unrealistic, though. Like, reason why I say that is you're going to give up the number 4 pick in the draft to get one of those guys. I mean, I know George Pickens was a second round player already, and then he was the second round pick traded for. So like Marvin Harrison Jr. is a top pick in the first. Like, you're gonna have to give up a first. It's like how Sauce Gardner trade was. How you gonna have to give up first round picks? The Titans ain't in the window of trading first round picks. They'd be better served of trading back out of 4 and picking up probably 3 top 100 picks, and then like addressing multiple positions with better talent. Amy wanted LaFleur's head coach last time. That's why I say if they fire, if the Green Bay Packers want to move on from LaFleur, thank you in advance. Titans got money to pay for a good head coach. Spend it. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They're building a new stadium. They're going to have a top 4 pick, 35, 66, 101, multiple extra picks. They're going to have $120 million in cap space. And you got Cam Ward and Jeffrey Simmons sitting there. So Tim DK is a Pro Bowler as a rookie. So, I mean, you got some pieces to work with. And it all starts with the head coach, with who they bring in. But that was kind of my thought. Like, like, you can get value at receiver all over the board. You don't necessarily just have to get a first round guy to say you got your number 1. Like, a lot of teams' number 1s are coming from day 2 and day 3 picks. It's just all about how you develop the talent and how they fit into your scheme and your offense. That's why I say, like, if you're not sold on giving Daubs or Pierce $20+ million, I'd easily give $12, $15 million a year to Kyle Pitts. Because of the type of statistics, the type of statistics that Chig Okonkwo's led the Titans in run after catch, receptions, and yards. And pretty much every year you can count on him to be like right at the top of our list. We're going to be a tight end heavy offense. Just generally, that's what the Tennessee Titans have always been. Delaney Walker, Jonnu Smith, Frank Wycheck. The tight end has always been a staple in Nashville. So, having him and Isaiah Likely on the board, if you're going to spend $10 million on Chig, I could easily see them going. Kyle Pitts was 88 catches, 928 yards, 5 touchdowns, 10.5 a catch. You put 6'6", 250 at tight end with him and Gunnar Helm. Having 2 tight ends you can flex, because as good as Gunnar Helm can be, I still think, like, if you let Chig go, DMR is number 2 tight end. You're still gonna have to go back in free agency or the draft. I think that would be a way to go. Now, if Chig would have been, I was saying extend him early, where you could have took a player option, maybe gave him some bonus money up front, and spent half of that to bring Chig back. Would have been a better option, and then draft a tight end in the future to add to that mix. But, Titans.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Titans don't exactly get ahead of the curve when taking care of their players. That's nothing that they have excelled at in the time. He says send one of them to New England. I think A.J. Brown could end up in New England next year. Ronald was good. Q Squire. Man, appreciate everybody tapping in. Make sure y'all tap in and following on the YouTube. So y'all, if y'all missed the shop talk, if y'all missed the podcast, y'all can go onto the YouTube every morning, 8 a.m. I chop it up into a more digestible form and drop it on there. And make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you like. Make sure you share. We so close to our watch hours to being YouTube partner. We real close on YouTube. You know, we at the beginning of the football season, we was this close to being partnered on Kick. We just needed a little bit of watch hours because everything else is there. But we're gonna definitely grind and go up in 26, as well as some of my secondary channels that I'm gonna be doing with my DIY stuff. Once I start teaching myself how to DIY things around my house and DIY with building. I'm gonna self-teach myself how to build PCs. I'm gonna do all this live in front of y'all. I'm not gonna duck and show my shortcomings. First things first, though, is I'm about to start rebuilding my stream room. So as I change the setup that's been here since 2020, y'all get, even though it's been here since 2020, my stuff is still better than 99% of the people that I run across, and that ain't being full of myself. I'm saying, like, that was my aim, is I wanted my content to not look any different from anybody that you really enjoy watching that was at the top of the game at the time and moving forward. So I'll let y'all see because I already got in my mind how it's gonna look and how I'm gonna go about doing it, and then we're gonna make a little mini series out of like me repurposing things and putting it in the stream room to see how you don't have to spend a lot of money to make upgrades to setups and stuff like that in PCs. Cause this jacket I got on, my wife actually like built this out of 2 different jackets. So like if y'all got TikTok, I put it in the Discord so you can click on the link and see how she made it. He said Kyle Pitts could slay it close to home if he signs here. Yeah, I mean Kyle Pitts in Atlanta. I had some guy on the YouTube video saying that Atlanta restructured Kirk Cousins to free up $30 million. I'm like, okay, you free up $30 million, you still got to sign your rookies, and Kyle Pitts is gonna want a nice little chunk of bread. You don't know what you're gonna do with Michael Penix. Like, there's a good, like, that 30 million to start your cap space is not a lot of bread when that one player we talking about is gonna take half of that. Tennessee Titans have 120. You know, the Rams have 90 million. The Patriots have a lot of money in cap space. The Raiders have a lot of money. It's some teams that, you know, it's probably 5 to 7 teams that's got like 90 million plus in cap space. So, like, you know, if you Kyle Pitts and you can go to, you know, the Chargers or one of the top teams, or you could come to Nashville and be the guy and get featured, like, there's no guarantee. And then even if you do restructure Kirk Cousins, like, are you keeping to a first round, a top 10 pick and Kirk Cousins again next year? Like, what are you doing? Risky. Yes, AJ, bro. You say New England gonna have Diggs and AJ. I know you lying. Mike Vrabel is the mindset. They can handle it, though. So you gotta think, like, Mike Vrabel is a coach they know they can't play with. Some of these other coaches is coaches you can play with. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Drake May is on a rookie contract. You can go load up. Like the Texans did. The Texans got 55,000 receivers the last 2 years and spent all their money on defense because CJ Stroud is on a rookie deal. They said, do the Chargers realistically? Yes, they do. They got Justin Herbert. They got Jim Harbaugh. They got a really good coach. But if y'all ain't watched Justin Herbert play this year, Justin Herbert is a wheeler and a dealer. What's that, AJ trying to go to the 49ers? He said, I ain't tripping about freaking main Diggs. Kyle Pitts will be cold on the Chargers. You got a Rondé Gasson, though. But I'm saying, like, Jim Harbaugh likes to go twin tight ends. See, I be naming the teams that, like, bro, like, put Kyle Pitts on the Titans with Gunnar Helm. You can go 12 personnel. You can flex one of them out. You can move one. Like, the Titans always going to use a move tight end. my whole thought process with the Tennessee Titans is make the whole 53-man roster better. There's not one receiver or one cornerback or one edge rusher like that's gonna fix this team. There's not one running back that's gonna fix it. Tennessee Titans overall have 34 people gonna be signed to their roster when we come into the time when they start rebuilding. They need the whole 53 to improve at every interior D line, edge, linebacker, cornerback, safety, wide receiver, tight end, running back, offensive. Like the ball boy got to improve. The grass got to improve. The hot dogs got to taste better. I mean, everything in Nashville has to go levels up. All right, man. Keep y'all questions coming. This is Shop Talk. We 45 minutes in, and we only gonna go up. And let me pull it up in case some of y'all haven't seen are unfamiliar with my game. So on the YouTube, we got the mailbag question for yours has been out of the loop. If y'all got a question, drop it in the comments of the YouTube videos or the shorts that I do on all social media platforms, and I will turn them into a whole video like I did for Statman or any other questions. If y'all missed the Shop Talks, I always break them down into smaller forms so you could tap in. They're on a playlist, like 6 minutes, 29 minutes, 32 minutes. This one was 2 hours and 11 minutes, but we was really going at it that day. And 33 minutes. It's more of a digestible form if you missed the Shop Talk, and you can picture it so you can watch it in the background. Like I said, we really close to our watch hours to be partnered on YouTube, so we can start getting ad revenue over there. And I'm definitely gonna be adding a lot of new things to the content this year. So I'm excited about this year. This year, we got some newfound energy, man. Improve is the main word, Ocho, man. The ball boy gotta improve, bro. Everybody, like, think about the Titans. Like, the teams that got better, like, just improve overall. Like, the Patriots didn't get one person that made you say the Patriots is gonna win the East, right? And overtake Josh Allen to win the East. Like, they took a left tackle to start the draft off, and it was a top 5 pick. They brought in Diggs when he was on the peak cocaine. Dr. Gibby, Robert Spillane. They brought back. They traded. They traded Joe Milton to the Cowboys. Travion Henderson was drafted. People like Judkins better than Travion. Then Travion went there. Ramondre Stevenson came back. Gibson got hurt. You think about the people that they brought in was just improving the roster overall at every position. And then you bring in a better play caller and a better head coach. And in 1 year, what do you get? It's the same for the Bears. The Bears didn't have, like, Colston Loveland. They drafted tight end and people scratched their head. Then they took Luther Burden in the second, where we was going to take Luther Burden, but we traded back for a second and third round pick and Femi and Kevin Winston. And people's like, man, what is the Bears doing? They took a wide receiver. They just got Rome Odunze. Like, they got DJ Moore. They took a receiver and a tight end. And those old veterans with Kevin Byard and Montez Sweat and guys just stepped up. It's not one person that you can draft or get in free agency that's gonna fix your whole team. The Seahawks, they let DK Metcalf go to the Steelers on a big deal. Tyler Lockett, they moved on from. They moved on from Pete Carroll. They brought in Cooper Kupp. They brought in Horton in the draft. They traded for Shaheed. It's a bunch of different moves. It's not just one person for the teams that turned it around. The Jaguars, they traded for Jacoby Myers, Newsom. They traded up to get Travis Hunter, and of all the moves that they made, that seemed to be the worst move that they made because they played him on both sides of the ball. They got to decide, are they going to play Travis Hunter as a receiver or a cornerback? And they really got to make up their mind. He's going to get him killed playing both ways in the NFL. And now if he plays predominantly receiver, you got Brian Thomas, the emergence of Parker Washington, who is Sunshine's favorite target. You got Brenton Strange. You got Jacoby Myers. Like, you have a lot of different targets that everybody ain't going to fit. Then if you move him to DB, if you put him at corner, you just think about the Jags don't have a first-round pick this year, and the Browns will have their first-round pick. So, sometimes, uplifting souls is good, my boy. I just think that it ain't like one player is going to make your team better. Like, you got to get better at every position all across the board. It said Josh Allen going to be beat up for that pass game. The Patriots got to get there first. And Mad Feet Mac Hollins, man. I said, but it's easy when you got a decent quarterback to get all the pieces to fill empty gaps. Not necessarily. Because, nobody thought that Drake May was what he was last year. We all thought that Drake May had talent, but nobody thought MVP level in one season. The same with Caleb Williams. People felt like Sam Darnold had reached his max winning 14 games last year. Go to the Seahawks. Boom. Then in the Raiders case, the Raiders are going to get to draft that QB. So if you got the right coach and you draft the QB and put the right pieces around,
Let me teach you how to
obviously
vibe.
the Raiders could be better next year than they are this year. Had to start at rock bottom. Talking about the Giants, y'all had Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and a number one overall pick. Y'all really had a better quarterback room than like 90% of the teams. By you already had backups and you had a development project. Y'all position is better than the Saints was. The Saints started with Spencer Rattler, Jake Hayner, and then Tyler Shuck. And then Kellen Moore got Tyler Shuck together the second half. It says it's going to be hard to fix our... It's not going to be hard to fix the secondary. It been killing the Titans fix this week. Hey, my wife did this, man. I'm going to share the link to you. It's in the Discord, but I'm going to reshare the link. She actually made this out of two different jackets. Our secondary is not a hard fix. We started the year with L'Jarius Sneed, Chidobe Awuzie, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., Roger McCreary, Marcus Harris, Darrell Baker Jr. Shoot 'em up, bang, bang. You cut Cheeto, which that was the major mistake. Cutting Cheeto and then trading Jarvis is like, you cut Cheeto to start Jarvis. Makes no sense if you knew you was going to trade him after the Tampa Bay incident in preseason. And then Roger McCreary's on the Rams. Shout out to Roger McCreary, Tennessee Titan legend. Just won a playoff game with the Rams. Then you wind up taking Marcus Harris, who you groomed him outside, starting him at nickel, then moved him back outside. Darrell Baker Jr. goes from like 7th-string corner to number 1 corner. Jalen Armour Davis gets cuts from the Ravens when they pick up Cheeto. We pick him up. He winds up being the number 2 corner behind Darrell Baker Jr. with Marcus Harris in the slot. Then you got Samuel Womack we picked up off the Colts when they threw him outside. And then Micah Robinson, the Packers cut, we picked him up off their practice squad. Then you wind up getting Kamon Hall and Kerry Lam off the Cowboys practice squad. The odds is you get 2 guys in free agency and you bring back the best of the guys that we had this year signed. So take your pick. Darrell Baker Jr. is number 1. Between Amar Davis and Kerry Lam and Marcus Robinson, you pick one other and you move that guy to the number 1 slot on the practice squad. You draft 2, you get 2 in free agency. Y'all gonna see in my video where I do my breakdown on my dream scenario. I like one of the guys off the Bears, and then give me Give me one of the guys off the Chiefs. Bring back Darrell Baker Jr. Leave Marcus Harris in the slot, and then draft two. One of those 2-day draft guy be a top 100 guy. The two guys I had on my last mock draft was Keontae Scott from Miami and Dalen Everett from Georgia. Put them in the mix. Put them in the mix with a couple free agents, and then the top two guys back from our practice squad. The problem is we're starting guys whose ceiling was free with special teams, and instead of having guys who floor is special teams. Everybody on the 53 floor need to be special teams instead of signing guys onto the practice squad and on the 53 because they can help on special teams. No, we need people that can help between the white lines. And then if they play special teams, like the Bills have Shavers. Shavers play special teams, but he's catching footballs first. So it's like you got to start thinking in terms of we need starting caliber players who can play special teams, not the best thing that they're good at is special teams. Pat's always been doing more or less on offense. Improve defense, greater than offense unless you the Chiefs. Nasty D. Dude from Indy going to the Raiders. You talking about Alec Pierce? You talking about the wide receiver? You gotta say the names because just dude from Indy could be a bunch of different people. All the young. I stand on my theory. If it's a first round quarterback, it's the coaching that makes the difference between he's good or bad. Drake May didn't look like it last year. He showed flashes. Same with Caleb Williams. You get these guys a head coach. Look how they look. Look at Sam Darnold after he left the Jets. Look at Baker Mayfield after he left the Browns. If you're a first round talent and you get the right coach, you'll be fine. Malik Willis, when he got off the Titans, which lets me know that when Will Levis goes to the next team, he's gonna ball out. A lot of times it's just culture and coaching. You talking about Indianapolis, Carlos Mendoza. I think Mendoza will be fine on the Raiders if he get the right coach. What time this other game starts? By the way, AJ gonna be a diva. He can go. I ain't gonna lie. AJ dropped some passes today that should have been big time catches that AJ just didn't come up with. Man, this is just tragic watching every line hit except for Kendrick Bourne not having one catch. Good God, man. All I needed was one Kendrick. No Kittle out there, and you still can't give me one catch. It said Pete would have been great to keep for a year. Nah, I mean Pete is in his 70s, bro. Like they tried the Pete experiment. He brought in Chip Kelly. He brought back you wanted Geno Smith, and you get stuck with Geno Smith. Geno Smith is gonna make almost $40 million guaranteed next season. The Pete Carroll experiment is over. It's showing that in Seattle moved on from Pete and moved on from DK and moved on from Lockett and moved on from Russell Wilson. And as soon as they cleared it out, look at the Seahawks now. They got the number 1 seed. So I wholeheartedly disagree with the Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's a Hall of Fame coach, but it's his time. Just like Belichick, they need to go lay up on the beach and do yoga or something. He said the Raiders were going to be not necessarily. I mean, like we're sitting here saying that a good coach could come in and get more with less, and then you're gonna have Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty. They had Jacoby Myers, Deontay Thornton. They had Max Crosby. They had all these guys, and they just didn't get nothing out of them. If you watch the Raiders play, they just look sloppy all year. And Chip Kelly was too busy trying to correct Ashton Genty's stance in the backfield and coaching him and coaching the offense. You know, sometimes like we fall in love with these people that's been doing it 20 and 30 years, but maybe it's time for them to move on. Because guess what? Pete Carroll's out the way. You have some younger coach that's going to come in and take over the Raiders, and I guarantee they're going to be better. He said the Titans need God to have a winning season. I say it all the time. You can't turn. Everybody clap it up for Donnell. He been holding that all week. He been dying to come in and say the Titans can't have a winning season. And then you go back and look at number of wins in the last decade of football, and the Tennessee Titans are going to be in the top half. Clap it up for Donnell, man. Yeah, there we go. We just sit here and watch 5 teams go from 3-win teams to the playoffs, and somehow the Tennessee Titans can't do it. We watch the Jaguars go from top 5 pick to winning the division. We watch the Patriots have a top 5 pick and win the division. We watch the Bears go from a 5-win team to win the division. Like, in some kind of way, the Tennessee Titans are not capable, even though you got other, like the Houston Texans have never been to a AFC championship game in the history of their franchise. But somehow the Tennessee Titans, people believe in their mind, can't be good. Even though they had the number 1 seed 3 years ago, it was in the AFC championship 4 years ago. How many teams do you think haven't been in a conference championship in the last 20 years, and the Titans been there 3 times? Crosby gets moved for draft picks. He want to compete. Raiders owe their coaches, and the Browns got eight quarterbacks under contract. Man, KT, man, people just be dropping the ball. Dre, people forget, or they just misinformed. And then when you inform them, the goalposts will be moved. See, we got Packer fans that want to get rid of LaFluer with an 80% winning percentage. And then we got misinformed fans that think the Tennessee Titans have never won football games. This is your daily reminder. CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Lawrence Purdy all have playoff wins before Herbert. I mean, think about it. The Commanders was in the NFC Championship last year. They're going to be a top 5 pick this year. It happens. Teams go from top to bottom and bottom to top. The NFL has parity. Teams will have a playoff schedule, and some teams will have an easier schedule. Some teams will have injuries. Some teams will be healthy. Look at the Colts. The Colts was 8-1. They was at the top of the AFC. Nobody could have guessed that after trading for Sauce Gardner, Daniel Jones would have an Achilles tear and break his leg. They didn't win a single game after that and didn't make the playoffs. Now next season, they don't have a first-round pick. It went from they're the geniuses and they got it all right to one thing happens and it snowballs, they miss the playoffs. And somehow you'll be like, man, Titans can't never be good. Like, bro, even teams that be at the top of the game, like, things can happen. It only takes like the margin of winning and losing in the NFL is like this. It's very small. Titans to me ain't as bad as folks make it out to be. I mean, think about it, Dre. They fired Brian Callahan. They went to bye week, and everybody on the team looked better. So if you had a competent coach for 17 weeks with $120 million in cap space, 5 top 100 picks, 10 plus picks overall, a new stadium, Tennessee Titans will be fine next season. Because to be realistic, when like look at the Panthers. Like Bryce Young was drafted #1 overall. It takes 3 or 4 years for you to put a team together before they get in the right direction. Like Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, like these guys ain't been in the league 1 or 2 years. They've been there for a minute. People that said Jaden Daniels was the godsend last year and that Drake May and Caleb Williams was bust, now flipping on their head and going in the opposite direction. Like maybe Jaden Daniels just got hurt and they fired Cliff Kingsbury in the DC and Dan Quinn got to reload and figure things out. Maybe Austin Eckler blowing his leg out to start the season, them trading Brian Robinson hurt them more than they'd care to admit. And the fact that they couldn't figure it out with Scary Terry all year and he got hurt. It'd be like things like that from a person that look at stuff unbiased, objectively can just say like, I can see how some teams got better and I can see how some teams got worse. I can see how some teams have room to improve and how some don't. So when we going over like the teams that are looking for coaches that are quote unquote bad, like the Giants are going to get back Jackson Dart. They're going to get back Scatterbo. They're going to get Malik Neighbors back. Kayvon Thibodeau is going to walk, but you're still going to have Abdul Carter, who you can turn around, and Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence. You make a few moves, the Giants will be straight. The Commanders are going to get a very high draft pick this year with a team that's good that just need their quarterback to be healthy and to get good coordinators next season. The Raiders going to have the first overall pick. The Raiders going to have cap space. They're going to get to hire a new coach. Then you move right along. The Jets got Aaron Glenn. He's a defensive-minded coach. It didn't work with Justin Fields, but they're going to have the #2 pick. Plus, they're going to have multiple first-round picks. The Browns, the new coach comes in, pair him with Shedeur Sanders. Njoku maybe moves on, maybe stays. But the Browns have 2 first-round picks. Like some of the teams that you look at, even the Cowboys, for as much as we like the Cowboys are a 500 football team, they're gonna give George Pickens a 5th-year extension. They're gonna franchise tag him, and they're gonna have 2 first-round picks next year. So just look at most of the teams. The Rams have 2 first-round picks. Like a lot of teams set themselves up, and then some teams like the Dolphins, it's a little bit more of a dumpster fire. You don't know what you do with Tua, because he's got a big contract. You don't know if Tyreek Hill ever comes back. You have a mass exodus of players, but yet and still, the right person could come to Miami and they could figure it out. Same with Atlanta. Atlanta has no money. They got to pay Kyle Pitts. You got Kirk Cousins. You got to beat up Michael Penix that can never finish the season. You just need the right coach to come in and make a decision on the direction they're going to go. You can take a team from worst to first just like that in the NFL because there's more parity. The NFL, like you get to see it with the college game now that they got NIL. A team that's not good can go in the portal and just spin the bag and get a good coaching staff and win. Like it's that's what the NFL is. Never understood the Brian Robinson trade. Yeah, it was weird because I guess Krosky Merritt is a good young running back that they got, but Austin Eckler going out and then Robinson traded. Then you got a bunch of young running backs. And see what people do. Like Krosky Merritt can have good statistics or a young running back can have good statistics, but it's the difference between being able to pick up an NFL blitz as a running back and pass protection. You know, then you have a quarterback on the sideline with his neck broke because your running back can't pick up pass pro. Hope they draft smart. I mean, the Titans killed the draft last year. Corey D. I mean, I think one of the big things and what you've seen from some of the from what do you call them? From the journalists that do the behind the scenes work, they got the inside sources is that people like the fact the Titans have Cam Ward, Jeff Simmons, and Mike Bergonzi. Now that the pecking order that you got Nahill and Brinker out the way, and Amy is where she's at. It's Bergonzi's team to hire a coach, draft the players, and get the free agents. So a lot of people trust what Mike Bergonzi is going to do. Said Tua was never going to be that guy. I ain't going to say that because he led the league in passing yards 1 year. The thing about Tua is they let him play on a concussion. I don't care what player you are. It could be Luke Kuechly. You let him play on a concussion, their life might be over. So, I mean, the Dolphins are in cap hell. Tyreek Hill, you've spent $30 million and traded a bunch of draft picks to get Tyreek Hill, but dude ain't did nothing but have babies in Miami. Flores was right. 7-9-1, ain't a 500 team. Let's be technical. Said thank you, Green Bay. Imagine Herbert with Hill and Waddle. But I mean, like, Hill's not playing. Like, Hill's been an off the field issue, and he's injured. I mean, Justin Herbert has Lad McConkey, Quinn Johnson, who's a first round pick. He has Aronde Gasson. He's got Joe Alt, Najee Harris, Marion Hampton. Like, it ain't like the Chargers are just devoid of talent. They brought back
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Keenan Allen. So the Browns gonna do it. Deshaun Watson, don't matter. His time has been had. Tia Tart out there balling, Titan legend. Bang bang, Hendricks, peace and blessings. Keep pushing to being great. Kyle Hannon, said, that's tough for Kittle.